River. Take this thing. We're going to shine our lights today with Lisa Plumley.
Thanks, I do.
Singing This Little Light of Mine. Please join us.
Shine, this little light of mine.
Come on, Lisa. Come on, Lisa.
I'm gonna let it shine. Well, you know this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, now this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. Well, now this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, now, all around the world, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Come on, Keith, let it shine. Let it shine.
Oh, yeah, Keith on guitar. On piano.
Ooh, nah, nah. This little light of mine, ooh, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, now this little light of mine, ooh, we're gonna let it shine. Oh, now this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more. This little light of mine, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine now. This little light of mine, ooh, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Ooh, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light, oh, mine.
Okay, you hear that train coming? Coming for you. Oh, there's a train coming. It's rolling down the tracks, calling all the people, calling us back to love, back where we belong in love. Oh, it's a train calling us back to love. Everybody. Oh, it's a peace train. Get on board a peace train. Everybody's dancing on the peace train. Hallelujah, the peace train. Woo, woo, it's a peace train calling us back to love. train and it's calling us back to love. Well, you don't need no ticket, you just take your place. Yeah, you drop your bags and you celebrate love. Oh, human race in love. 'Cause it's a train, it's calling us back to love. Let's go with it, here we go. It's a peace train, come on, go, go. Peace train, everybody's dancing on the peace train. Hallelujah, the peace train. Woo, woo, it's a peace train, calling us back to love. Yeah, 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 'cause it's a peace train, calling us back to love. Take it away. Keith. Well, you don't need no ticket, you just take your place. Drop your bags and you celebrate love. Oh, human race in love. 'Cause it's a train, it's calling us back to love. Oh, it's a peace train, get on board, peace train. Everybody's dancing on the peace train. Hallelujah, the peace train. Woo, woo, it's a peace train, calling us back to love. Oh, it's a peace train, calling us back to love. Yeah. Woo-hoo. Oh, hallelujah. So I want to take 1 second here and celebrate a choir member that is taking the summer off, Miss Judy Hasher. Yeah, Judy Hasher. Let's give a big hand. Hasher, yeah. There's a lot of hard work goes into being in the choir. So we want to celebrate all people that take the time. And if you are moved, come on up anytime, every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Because we know that all things work together.
For good.
Yes, for good. And we know that all things work together. Yes, we know that all things work together for those who are called, those who are called, those who are called to God's purpose. All things work together. All things work together. All things work together. Work together for good. Please join us. And we know that all things work together. Yes, we know that all things work together for those who are called, those who love God, Happy Sunday. So rise, please, if you are able, and join hands in singing Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let us pray. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place as a magnificent embodiment of each and every one of you. We are indeed the face, the heart, the hands, the fullness of the divine made real. Each and every one of us is the opportunity for love in action, the opportunity to serve, the opportunity for the Christ nature to be felt and made present today. As we come together to honor that, connect with that, be in spiritual community together with that, grow in that, deepen, expand, raise our consciousness into that truth. We are indeed God made visible. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen and amen. You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity on the River on this absolutely gorgeous, is it summer yet? Late spring, transition day, whatever it is, I am grateful. Grateful that you are here. If you've not had the chance to meet yet, I'm Reverend Ogun Holder, Senior Minister here. And as always, I like to say, because we are the embodiment of the divine, if we ever really need to see the face of God, we simply look to each other, turn to someone and say, hey, God looks good today. Turn back and say, thank you, God. There we go. We got to be polite. Got to be polite. And God looks good today as I share this platform with this amazing music team, singers, choir, and facilitating Gina Jeunesse.
Good morning, Unity on the River. That was a great opening of music. I just want to say that. It was awesome. Thank you. All right. So, I'm facilitating today. So I'd like to welcome our streamers. We do stream our service live. So could you just give a little wave to our streamers, please? Good morning, streamers. Thank you for being with us today. And just a reminder, you can watch us live. Our services are streamed live as well. On YouTube, you can listen to the previous talks or on your smartphone using the SoundCloud or Spotify apps. And now, I'm wondering, is there anybody here celebrating with us for the first time? Would you raise your hand if you are? Hi, thank you, welcome. We have some new people. So raise your hand for another minute. The ushers are going to come bring you a packet and a flower. And that flower is good for 10% off in our bookstore, which is through those doors after service today.
And a new car.
And the new car. Not really. That's Mickey's thing. Anyway, please fill that welcome card out and bring it through there through the Spiritual Resource Center. And if you have any questions, please bring them there and we can answer them for you. And also, we bless you and thank you for coming today. We welcome all paths to God. Thank you for being with us. So Unity on the River is a center of celebration, transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Please hold these truths in your heart as we say our mission statement and vision statement. Our mission statement: transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. And our vision statement: awakened to and transformed by divine. We are an expanding, compassionate, inclusive beacon of light. Thank you. Some brief announcements this morning. Today after service, there is a workshop by Lauren LaPlante Rotman. She'll be hosting creative charitable giving today at 11:45 in the wing room through there. Learn about alternative and creative ways to financially support Unity on the River, including tax deductions on life insurance premiums, assigning asset beneficiaries, and more. Also, Embodying Soul Dance is coming back to Unity on the River Friday, June 28th at 7 p.m. Join our own Michael Mooney and Corey Green McLaughlin as we welcome home our bodies and open ourselves to inquiry that unfolds in each moment from movement and presence. It's $15 to pre-register, $20 at the door, and you can sign up online at the Unity website. The next Healers Open House is coming up Sunday, July 16 at 11:45. Talk with practitioners and sample various healing modalities that day. And if you are a practitioner and are interested in participating in the event and share your healing gifts, please call Michael in the office. And now's the time in our service where we welcome each other and greet each other in love with namaste, with a handshake or a hug, and say, I see you, I see your beauty, I see your magnificence, I see you.
Of peace, well, I'll stand like a willow, floating and free, so grateful to be in the spirit of grace. Well, I'll sing like a nightingale and see God in every face. God's grace in the spirit of peace. Always open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle. Well, I'll pray like a mountain, all my smallness released, so majestic and free in the spirit God in every face, God's grace in the spirit of peace. Always open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that I am today. Open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that bursts always open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that I am today. Open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that burns in the spirit of peace. Peace, grace, and ease. In the spirit of peace. Thank you. Thank you so much.
For those of us who came out of more traditional Christian experiences, today's a fairly important day in the liturgical calendar. It's the day of Pentecost. And if you're familiar with the Jesus story, Jesus was, crucified, there was the resurrection. We celebrate that at Easter. And then he hung around for a little bit longer. He appeared to the disciples, let his presence be known. Then at some point he ascended, but told them, I'm going to send the Holy Spirit to anoint you. And sure enough, some short time afterwards, the disciples had this experience where what seemed to be tongues of fire appeared over each and every one of them. They were anointed by the Holy Spirit. And some say this is the point where they stopped really being disciples and became apostles. They stopped becoming followers of Jesus and his teachings and became leaders in their own right. In fact, if you read the Acts of the Apostles, some of them, especially Peter, went on to do some amazing, miraculous things in the vein of Jesus. So it's the day of Pentecost. Now, as you also know, in unity, our relationship with the Bible is not necessarily a literal one. We look at it metaphysically. Everything that happens is an indication of our own inner spiritual transformation. So for us and for our own evolution of Christ's nature, the Pentecost is when we realize the good news of who we are, Christed beings, the embodiment of the divine, and we awaken to this and we kick our transformation into high gear. Those moments when your transformation kicks into high gear. lay hold of a new teaching, or there's some layer that's getting shed, or you have this real heart opening aha experience. Something happens, and all of a sudden, you've been plodding along on this journey, and then suddenly, kabow! It's like a whole new level of who you are as a spiritual being. And you're thinking, oh, this is so good. I'm in the flow. And then sometimes life happens, right? And throws something in your path. And sometimes we find ourselves being maybe not the Christed spiritual beings we'd like to be in that moment. Sometimes we make some choices that we go, wait, I thought I was done making these kind of choices. Sometimes we make choices from the personality we used to be before the awakening happened. And then often what happens is that we kind of beat up on ourselves for it. I should have known better than this. How could I make this choice? I thought I was better than this. Or sometimes we go like, well, these teachings must not be working because I'm still making these same mistakes. The Buddhists have a term for this. They call it the second arrow. Okay, it's this idea that a life circumstance comes up that hurts us, that injures us, or causes us to maybe not be the best Christ being we could be in that moment. And there's pain. And then we compound the pain by shaming ourselves. The second arrow. The second arrow. It is from this idea of the second arrow that you get this nice Buddha saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Okay? Because life is going to happen to us. Someone we love may leave us, may die. Something we were hoping would happen didn't happen. So we find out new information about something, and we become angry, and we want to act, and sometimes we do, and it's a whole thing. There's going to be pain. The suffering also comes when we step away from that a little bit, and then after the fact go, oh, I can't believe I did that. What kind of unity person am I? And sometimes the shame gets so immense that we run away and we hide. I can't face people knowing that they know that I responded the way I responded. And it becomes a whole thing sometimes for us. The second arrow. So how do we prevent ourselves from injuring ourselves even further? How do we allow ourselves to, along the path of awakening transformation, have these opportunities or missteps and not get mired in guilt and shame? And I should say for a moment, let me make the distinction between guilt and shame, in case you didn't know. There are different things, and one of them is not all bad. Guilt is not all bad. Guilt happens when maybe we make a mistake, we hurt ourselves and other people, and we legitimately feel bad about that. If I unknowingly made a mistake or said something or did something that caused somebody harm, I feel bad about that. I don't want to cause you harm. I love you. So I can legitimately feel bad about that, and it will inspire me and awaken me to try not to make that mistake again. That's guilt, not in and of itself a bad thing. Shame, on the other hand, says, I made the mistake, so now I am a bad person. There's something broken in me. There's something wrong with me. Shame, some phrases that I know that when I've stepped into that shame place is like, how could I do that? Like, what's happening to me? Who am I? Like, when it becomes about me, the person, I know I'm sort of in shame. When it becomes about the action that I can step away from and realize that, given the choices that I had right then, that's what I did, and I can make amends and reparations and not do it again, that's guilt. So guilt can be a bit of a motivator. Shame, however, seeks to limit the divine fullness that we are. So make those distinctions. A couple weeks ago at the Ask the Minister, I touched briefly on this process of how we can avoid the second arrow. And I want to revisit it again for a couple reasons. Somebody asked a question about how do we know when it's time to let go of things we've been carrying around, that struggle. Somebody was asking about self-care and the realizing that they don't take care of themselves as well as they probably should. How do they make that shift? And I mentioned this process that I learned from the teachings of Tara Brach, Buddhist minister. It's called the R.A.I.N of self-compassion. And there's 4 steps. R.A.I.N represents recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So we're going to go through these a little bit, and then I'm sharing with you how I had the opportunity to really practice that this week. Because I love it when I clearly give the sermons that I need to hear for my own life. And when that came up in the Acts of the Minister, and I touched on it, then I had something that happened this week, and then it was like, oh yeah, I know a way. I know a process. I have a process. I spoke about it last week. Okay, I got this. Well, I'm still in the process of getting it. But let's talk about R.A.I.N first. The first step is to recognize. Okay, I got a clicker here. You know, would you mind doing it, Karen? There we go. Multitasking, not my thing. Recognize. The first thing is to recognize what is happening to us. Recognize that the first arrow, if you will. Recognize there's been pain caused, or there's been an injury that we perceive it's happening. Recognize that in that moment that it happened, we maybe are stuck in this place of attachment, this place of woundedness, whatever it is. We just recognize that it happened, okay? Sometimes we feel it in different parts of our body. Sometimes it's that inner voice of spirit. We just recognize is the first step of this process. And then, this is the tricky one. I think this is the crux of it. We go on to step 2, which is to allow. Because usually when we recognize what's happening within us, we want to be in a hurry to fix it, change it, get rid of it. I don't want to feel this anymore. I should know better. I don't want to feel bad about myself, or whatever it is. We want to fix it. And this is where sometimes our spiritual tools can work against us. We know some steps. We know affirmations and denials. We know to touch into our 12 powers. We know all these different things, you know, and we know the mantras and blah, blah. And we want to just get on the process of fixing it, getting rid of it. No. We allow it. We see what's coming, and we just observe. We just observe. Because here's the thing, when we start right away to jump in to try and fix it, there's going to be this inner struggle, okay? Because we don't really quite know what we're fixing yet. We know what we're feeling, but we haven't quite figured out why we're feeling it or how we're feeling it. But we want to fix it. And sometimes when we jump in right away, there's a struggle, and then we just suffer even more. We struggle and suffer. But if we take a breath and allowing leads to awakening. Struggling to suffering, allowing to awakening. Got that? Struggle to suffering, allowing to awakening. Say it with me. Struggle to suffering, allowing to awakening. One more time. Struggle to suffering, allowing to awakening. If you get nothing else from today, remember that. Remember that. Because often we start the inner struggle more than we need to. And how do you avoid that struggle? You simply allow what needs to come up. And don't fight it. In consciousness, when we resist something, it simply persists. You've heard that saying before, what we resist persists. And a lot of us take that to mean stuff that's going on in our outer lives. No, it's about our inner consciousness. What we resist in our consciousness that's coming up, when we struggle against it, fight against it, seek to get rid of it, it's just going to hang around longer. But if we allow it, it's going to take us somewhere else. So we recognize, we allow, and then we investigate. We do it carefully. Investigating means asking some deeper questions. Like, for example, where do I feel this in my body? Some of us are very body perceptive people. Am I feeling in my gut, in my heart space, in my throat area, in my earlobe? I don't know. Wherever it is you want to feel it, or wherever it is coming through, get in touch with that. okay? Because our body's like a conduit of intuition. Because as soon as things pop up, the fix-it brain, like I said, wants to take over, or the reptilian brain in us wants to run or freeze up or fight back. We have all these built-in reflexes. Where's our body? Our body's tuned, a little more fine-tuned into things. So if there's any invitation I have for you also is to get to recognize those shifts in your body without judgment, without the rush to, again, fix them. Just recognize them, allow them, answer deeper questions. What is it that I might need at this point, in this journey? What's some other questions? What needs the most attention? What does this place in me that's giving me this nudge? What is it asking for? And again, when we ask these questions, we do it without attachment. We do it with great patience. We do it with great love for ourselves. Again, a lot of this is just sitting and listening. So we recognize what's going on. We allow the feelings, the responses, and then we ask them deeper questions. We investigate. And then finally, we go into nurture it. And nurturing means when we get a sense of what's being asked for and what's being needed, then we can ask back, then what is mine to do about this? Is there a piece of me that's really asking for forgiveness and a little extra love? Is there a piece that's asking me to be in action around something or something else? Is it there's a piece of me that needs a message of reassurance or healing? Is there a piece within me that's still holding on to a trauma of the past that now is the time to let go of? I wasn't ready before, now I'm ready now. And there's some anxiety around that. And again, we do it with care, with patience. None of this is happening overnight, people, by the way. This takes days, weeks, months, years, depending on what the situation is, depending on who the situation is around. Sometimes there are things so deeply embedded in us that we basically spend our whole lives healing or making peace with. And that's okay. I hate to tell you this, but you got nothing but time. And you think, no, we're limited beings, this mortal flesh here. We don't know how long we're going to be around. We don't know what's going to happen in the randomness of life. Exactly, you don't know, so stop worrying about the timeline. Pretend it doesn't exist, and just be patient with yourself to do that healing work. That this is what's calling you up. This is what the inner discomfort and schisms are about. Be gentle with yourselves, even if it feels weird and awkward. And also, here's the other thing, seek help. You may not know how to nurture yourself in these whatever situation or what comes up, so it's okay to ask for help. Ask your minister. Ask your therapist. Ask random spiritual healer. Just ask if you are not sure. Or, last resort, maybe also the first resort, get still and ask yourself. You know what you need. You just need to give yourself the space to hear it without judgment, without attachment, with great patience, with great love. Love yourself in this way. And if for some reason loving yourself in this way is a challenge to you, imagine that there's a close family friend, a partner, a spiritual teacher and minister who loves you without the attachments, without the conditions. Imagine them sending love to you. Imagine me saying, you are a whole Christed being, love you, and radiating love. Can't do it for yourself? Imagine me doing it for you, or someone else that works for you. Because only in this sense of nurturing can we actually bring the healing that all this conflict is bringing up in us. The R.A.I.N of self-compassion. And we walk our way through this process. This week, earlier, I got an invitation to do something historic. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I got an invitation to make history. Okay? A little backstory. You all remember where I'm from, right? Barbados. In Barbados, technically, it's still illegal to be gay. The homosexuality laws are still on the books. And for many, many, many decades, lifetimes, the LGBTQ community they existed in silence with each other, in the shadows, behind the scenes. Now, in the last few years, however, as we become this hyper-connected society, especially the younger people in Barbados who are part of the LGBTQ community, they said, oh, no, this is not going to work. We see how other places in the world, like here in this country, for example, are existing. We see laws that have been changed. We see there's been this level of acceptance and support. We want that where we are too. So about 6 years ago, an organization was started in Barbados. It's the Barbados Gay, Lesbian, All Sexuals Against Discrimination. Be Glad. I love that acronym. Be Glad, right? So this organization started 6 years ago, and the intention was about just bringing awareness and education. Last year, for the first time ever, there was a pride parade in Barbados. It was small, but, Caribbean people, we do everything loud, colorful, and in style. And it was perfect because there was a stretch of road in the capital in Barbados that they recently named after R.A.I.N, the pop star who was originally from Barbados. So the gay pride went down R.A.I.N Drive. This is perfect. Right? So they had this parade. So a few years ago, when I became ordained, first of all, and even before then, when my views shifted around homosexuality and around what the Bible says about homosexuality, and in the context of religion, because I grew up believing what I was told, which is being gay was a sin, you're going to burn in hell. That was what I grew up with. That's what I believed, and that's the message that I propagated all the way into college. And then in college, I had a shift. Why did I have a shift? Guess what? I got to know people. I got to know people. I also got to know about the Bible. Not what was in it, but about it. What it was written, the context, the history, the place of consciousness that people were in when they wrote it. I got to know a lot of stuff. Education and relationships are really important in shifting your worldview about things. So, this past February, when I was in Barbados on vacation and with some folks from the church here, I made a connection with this organization. And I said, hey, you guys had a pride parade. That's so awesome. I see things are moving along here. I just want to let you know who I am, and if there's any way from where I am I can support you guys, because, we're all connected. The social media world, I'm there for you. They said, okay. All right. Last week, I got an email from them saying, hey, we want to have a church service in Barbados specifically for and by the LGBTQ community. Would you be open to coming home and doing it? Don't clap yet. Because let me tell you what happened for me in that moment. In that moment, I had this weird experience of knowing that everything in my life was leading up to that moment. Everything in my life was saying to me, you are the one who not only helped propagate this sense of disconnection and hatred in the first place, but you get to help repair it and heal it. It was no accident that you found unity. It was no accident your teachings, your belief system, how you believe about the world has been transformed. It was no accident, and I think I shared this story before, that years before I encountered unity in 1997, when I was here in the United States, as a little kid being driven to school by my dad, they had radio spots of the Daily Word, the Word from Unity. These 30-second radio spots, because there was a very long-standing uni community that doesn't exist, and they were truly just a study group. People who want to get together, read some film or works, and that was it. That was what they did. But they would have these radio spots on. You know, the seeds were planted for a long time. And I didn't even know this what it was. I got to uni in 97. It wasn't till somewhere in the 2000s that I made the connection. Oh, wait, that was what I was listening to growing up? Oh, my God, that's amazing. You know, we bring ourselves and attract ourselves to the situations that call us up to be higher. So I got this email, and I got the feeling of course, this is what I've been preparing for. And at that exact same second, I got the exact opposite of all those feelings. Anybody but me. Please. You're asking me, little old me, to basically go back and take on the entire religious establishment of a country. Granted, it's a small country, but still. Because as far as we know, every church, every movement, every belief system in Barbados says it is wrong to be gay. But wait, there's more. After the Pride Parade last year, for which the churches basically raised up an objection, you know who the loudest voice among the clergy and the churches that was probably in the press more and more visible than anyone else was? My former minister. The man who was like one of the most instrumental influences in me in considering becoming a minister, who, even though, you know, I don't agree with theologically anymore, I still held in great respect. But wait, there's more. My mom still attends the church there, has a great connection with him, with the minister. So it's been like, so when all of that hit me, I was like, yeah, oi, pretty much, in a word, oi. So, quick sidebar. I realized I was going to be sharing this with you today. And I said, you know, I should probably give my mom some heads up. I want her to hear from me that this is happening, not see it on the live stream or hear from somebody else who's seen it, and then they tell her, do you know what your son is doing? Kind of deal. So I messaged her, called her, didn't hear anything. I get a message from her at like 6:45 this morning while I'm about to get ready for church. And she says, so what's happening now? So I kind of type out everything that's going on, you know. And suddenly the phone rings, it's her. So I pick up the phone, and basically we have a conversation around this. And she said, I think she's kidding, but I don't know. She said, just make sure that when you come, you don't let anybody know you're my son. And I said to her, don't let anybody know. I expect you to be at the service. What are you talking about? To which she had a good laugh about it. I don't know if she's kidding or not. We'll see what happens. You know. But as much as she's grown and evolved and softened about her belief around it, this is still a challenge for her and so many other people in my family. And this is still a point of transformation and a disconnect between us. Yes, Peter.
Are you being called to stay there?
What? Dude, let me finish my talk. Then you ask the questions, okay? Wow, that escalated fast. Wow. So all these obstacles came up in me, all these things. So I was like, you know, I'm walking around anxious. And part of the anxiety about this was when they want me to do this. They want me to do this on June 30th, a few Sundays from now. And I said to them, well, I don't know if I can come do that because, you know, me and like Malik here, we're planning a service specifically for and by the LGBT community here. We're planning, I can't come to do your thing and not stay here and do the thing here. I said, so like, I don't know if I can do that or not. And I'm wrestling with this. So I take myself through this. I take myself through this process. Recognize what is happening to me. Recognize the anxiety that's coming up. Recognize how it's playing against all my fears of things. All you know. So it's like, all right, let me just let it be. Let me just let it be. And then ask the deeper questions. Wait, what is this about? It's about my ongoing challenge about playing small. It's about me being a type 9 who doesn't like conflict. It's about me potentially saying to the person who was like one of the major influences in my life to stand opposed to him in this. And what that might mean. So all of this stuff is coming up. So I ask myself the deeper questions. And also the guilt, potentially, about if I say yes, not being here for you guys on the 30th. So I talked to Malik. I was like, let me talk to the guy who's helping me arrange this. And Malik said, you can't not do this. He also said, we don't need you. We'd be fine without you. Which triggered a whole other set of things, but we're going to rain on that later. That's a whole other thing. But he and other people who I spoke to said, you can't not do this. You can't not be that voice, that of transformation and love. This is what you tell us to do. You can't not do it. You can't not be an ambassador for unity on the river, for unity, for the voice that says, we are one. So I'm going to go do this. Y'all gonna make me cry. Whew.
You're making me cry.
Ah. So yeah. So I'm gonna go do this. It's gonna take me about 3 days to answer your question. He's like, are you staying? I'm just gonna go do this service. Okay? I'm gonna go be that presence. I'm going to say to the families, to the country, in fact, I'm probably saying it now, I'm sure some of them are gonna watch, that, you know what? We need to expand our idea of what God is. We need to stop limiting God to a certain set of beliefs that do not include everyone. It's time to transform. We've been doing this all over the world in other places. I know there are some people in Barbados who are also doing it. There's a nice metaphysical group I connected with, or someone from that group when I was there in February as well. People are ready for this. So I'm not going to be a lone sheep among wolves. No, I'm going to be there as Papa Bear to extend arms of love and create a safe space. It'll be also the first church service that I lead as a minister in my homeland. There's a great verse in the Bible when Jesus comes back to Nazareth and does his teaching, and people are like, who is this dude? This Joseph's little boy? You know, the carpenter? Like, wait, what? You know, and Jesus is like, yeah, prophet really not welcome in his own home. So I got that going on in the back of my head as well, right? Wait, this is Mrs. Carter's grandson who had the bakery. This is Mrs. Holder's little boy who used to like play piano in church. Like, this is what who is he to come back? So all of this is going on up in there, right? So I'm raining on myself. Hard time all this week and all in the next week. And every moment I'm going to be in there. And judging by your response just now, I also know that I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it, supported by you guys, supported by your love, supported by your knowing the truth That what we want is a world that works for all, a world that our vision statement reflects, one of inclusiveness. Hey, if you can get yourselves there, get yourselves there. I got room in the house, I'll put you up, but you gotta get yourselves there. Okay, yeah. So, do I need a band? Listen, it's a free country, so, if you got nothing to do at the end of the weekend, but no, you know what I'd rather you do? I'd rather you stay here and support the members of our LGBT community, support the message that we put out into this local area, into the world, that this is a safe space, that regardless of who you are welcome here, and that we see you, as we say with our namaste, we see you as divine beings, and that's all we see you as. It's a message that we have lived, we've understood, we've been transformed by, we've opened our doors to, and the rest of the world, not every place has that. My home country doesn't have that. And yet. And I feel so humbled and so honored to be invited to be one of the pieces, just one of the pieces that could be a catalyst for that transformation. To use Malik's phrase, I can't not say no. I can't not say no to stepping into that next level of the highest in beings. So I say yes, yeah. I can't not say yes. What did I say? Well, there you go. See, it's still... Sorry, rain. Raining on me. Rain. And it's interesting, where I've been feeling this when I do the investigation, where I've been really feeling a lot of this in my throat. You know what the throat symbolizes, right? It's your power center. Speaking your truth, but when we look at the 12 powers, it's where the power of power is located. Here.
Throat chakra.
Yeah. So this is like inviting me up to a whole lot of different levels. So we say yes. We say yes when we're called up. We say yes, and we don't shoot ourselves with the second arrow along the way. So my invitation to you, put the arrows in the quiver. Be mindful, patient, and loving with yourself as you go along your journey and your path. And say yes. Say yes to the magnificence that you are being called up to be. And when these opportunities are laid before you, just say, yeah, of course. I'm here to be the presence of God. Let's take this in a meditation. So I invite you, take a deep breath, plant both feet on the floor. If you're comfortable, gently closing the eyes. Take yourself into your heart space. Let the breath pull you down into the heart. And from that heart-centered place, remember to love yourself. Remember to be patient with yourself. To be compassionate with yourself. To extend the love that you would extend to another. By loving ourselves, we heal ourselves. We heal ourselves from trauma. We heal ourselves from indifference. We heal ourselves from the pressure we put on ourselves. It begins with love. till we cease to struggle, we cease to suffer in. We allow ourselves to be awakened to the deep, infinite, abiding love of God that is who we are. And we allow it to wash over us, to permeate through us, to heal us, to support us when we are called up to be the highest, grandest expression of Christ consciousness that we are here to be. We awaken to love. We transform ourselves. We change the world. It is who we are called to be. So let us affirm this to ourselves silently. I'm awakened to and transformed by divine love. I'm awakened to and transformed by divine love. For a few moments in the silence. I am awakened to and transformed by divine love. We hold this intention for all these names in our prayer box, all these prayer requests and concerns, fueled by love, desire for peace. Should you hold that intention for anyone else in your life, I invite you to say their names out loud now. In so doing, we bind together with each other, one body, centered in love, seeing them awakened and transformed by the love that they are, asking what is ours to do to be that presence of love in their lives. We are awakened to love, and so it is.
In the silence I shall go. In the stillness there's a knowing. In the presence of divine love, I am loved. I am loved. Shemaiah, Shemaiah,
Thank you, Reverend Ogun. I was thinking, Janice Sanfield sang "You Will Do Amazing Things" a few weeks ago. There you go. All right, I'd like to take a moment, too, to recognize the beautiful souls who volunteer here as prayer chaplains. Please rise if you are able. These wonderful people can meet with you for prayer or for gratitude, or to simply sit in silence with you after service. They will hold your prayers and intentions in the strictest of confidence. Thank you. Also, if you are in need, we have home and hospital prayer chaplains that will do a home visit for recuperation or hospital stays. Please see one of the home or hospital prayer chaplains or call the office if you have questions. Are you here, Catherine or Nancy? Nancy, okay, thank you. Remember, you can also submit your prayer requests in the prayer box, which is located in the back of the room. And Unity on the River now has a dedicated phone line that takes prayer requests as well. Our prayer team and Silent Unity will pray over your requests. And now's the time in our service where we say our affirmation for our tithes and offerings. Let's hold them and breathe in our energy of abundance as we say our affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
A couple quick things as we collect our offering. Please remember to join me at like 2 o'clock this afternoon at Bella Spa and Salon. Christian and Kayla, if you remember, are doing a fundraiser, Trim for Trade. They're going to we're going to come, we're going to get our hair cut, or we're not. We're just going to come, show up, and have a good time, have fun, have some food, and make some donations, which go towards the Pelican Intervention Fund to help support those individuals who need financial help to be in a residential treatment facility for opioid addictions. 2 o'clock, 2 to 5, right? Somewhere anywhere between 2 to 5. If you want to sign up for a specific time, talk to them after service today, or you could just show up. I haven't done anything to my hair in over a week in preparation for this. Y'all probably never seen this much gray on me before. This is what it usually looks like. So we'll see what they can do today to help fix me up. I also want to highlight, so over the next few Sundays, Tom Paolini will be our guest speaker. It's Father's Day. I'm going to start calling him Papa Tom from now on. He's going to give the message next week. This week, I'll be going over to Unity Village. I am going to be in service to the Unity movement by being part of the licensing and ordination team. This is a team of ministers from the field who help decide if the current crop of ministerial students are ready to be ordained. So this is how I am choosing to give back to the Unity movement that has served me so well. I'll be doing that, and then the following week is a Unity conference. And then the following Sunday, which I had originally planned to be here, well, y'all know what I'm going to be doing now. So please come support Tom. The Sunday after that, the 23rd, is our very own Leslie Smith over there. Leslie, give us, there you go. Leslie's going to be doing a talk and a workshop, so please come out and support her. I'm sure there'll be some cameo appearances by all of them. Okay then. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to come on the 23rd to see for yourselves. So let's give thanks for these gifts. So go into that place of gratitude within your heart. Let us give thanks for these gifts that you have shared with us. So whether you gave here today, online, or you're giving straight from your bank account, however you choose to invest in your spiritual community, invest in the very existence of this community today and for years to come. We are grateful, and we share a portion of these back to the Amesbury community, the Unity movement, and in so doing, we are in the flow. And so it is. Amen. And I think Gina's got a few more thank yous to give.
All right, just test me. All right, so we have thank yous for today. It takes so many people who give up their time to help with Sunday service. Thank you for all you do for sacred service. This week's angels, Peter, Edith, Lacey, Carolyn, Imelda, and Jane. Our teams, the meditation garden team, the hospitality team, and the bookstore team. If you're here, would you please stand for a moment? Thank you. Unity on the River has a board of directors. Please stand if you are here. Our board members are here. Thank you. They are available. They are available for answering your questions or for discussion after service. And a Wednesday night reminder, thank you to all those who make Wednesday night services happen. Please join us this week, June 12 at 7 for Psalmody service. This week's will be led by David Tompkinson. And now is our closing big song.
Yeah. So I just want to say, let's all give a big round of applause for Lisa Plumley, who's been giving up, tithing of her time and talent. Everyone.
I'm gonna lay down my burden, John, down by the riverside.
Sing it.
Down by this riverside, down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my burden, Lord, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden, yeah, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden, yeah, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more. No, I ain't gonna study war no more, no, no, no. lay down my sword and my shield, oh Lord. Now, 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 yeah. Woo! Beauty there.
Mr. Plumley. Let's stay standing as we welcome in our youth and family. They're actually kind of hanging out in the back there enjoying the music. Come on up, walking as the light. We are walking as the light of God.
I stand in the presence. So today we took advantage of the warmth and the sun, and we played a whole lot of Foursquare and did a little bit of drawing and talked a little bit about what people's plans are for the summer. So if you haven't been out yet today, please spend some time outside. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Let us stand, take the hand of our neighbor, affirm the truth for ourselves, for these children, that there is peace on earth, and it begins with us. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed.
So be the light.
That's the day, God. Everybody's dancing on the peace train. Peace train. Peace train. Take us back to love.
string, got a peace string. I got a peace string on that peace string. It's a peace string. It's a peace string on that peace string. It's a peace string. It's a peace string. Yeah, that's back to love. That's right. Tag it. It's a peace string. Bringing us back to love. Yeah. Hallelujah.